So, turn this down a little bit. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Before we get started, just let me know if you can hear my microphone, if everything sounds good, and if you can hear the screen, this song playing on Boombox. I've got the chat open here so I can see who's here. When you ask for your track to be played, I can pull it up. What we're going to do is spend the next couple of hours trying to listen to as much music as possible from the community. You want just go full screen. But importantly, while I'm giving feedback, it's amazing when everybody else jumps in and gives feedback as well. When we're playing tracks, let's, get together as a community, sort of hype each other up a little bit, give everybody feedback, let people know what you like about the tracks, maybe what you change, a little bit of feedback. Because I'm just one person, I'm going to try to give as much sort of objective and subjective feedback as possible, but I can only do so much. But the plan is to just get right into this because there's a lot of songs to go through. This has sort of gone a bit crazy before we've even started this stream. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. I've got a noise gate on, but the postman just arrived. Yeah, let's just get right into this. Let me know as well if this is, if there's any lag or any issues like that. Importantly in the audio, because if the video lags a little bit, it's not the end of the world. That's just sort of the reality of streaming. My goodness, we've already got 250 viewers in here. It's sort of gone a bit crazy before we've started. You'll see here, I've just got so many tracks submitted. Even if I go really, really quickly, I'll probably get maybe 30 or 40 done at most. So let's just see how this goes. I've got a couple stacked up here. Let's see. I'll show you why I'm using Boombox, because I can basically set up a queue here. So we've got this song playing, Closer by Tremolo. We've got a few more that I've just stacked up, some of the first people to submit. But if I see you mention your track in the comments, I can just add that to the queue and we'll get to it in no time at all. Okay, great. So a couple of people are saying the audio is a little bit low, but lots of people just say. Right, okay, I see one saying play Rosker, so I'll try to find that and add that to the queue, but you can see there's just so many here. There we go. Forever, be forever mine. Let's just add that to the queue so I can just go add to queue, and then eventually we're going to get to it. So I hope you can see why I'm using Boombox here. It makes sense. Okay, so this one is... Actually, I'll see if is this person Deftorm adrift in the chat right now, because if they are, we'll listen to this whole song and give some feedback. Also, is anyone from Brazil here? If you are, let us know. Okay, let's get this audio up a little bit higher and see what happens. People are saying the volume music's really low. Okay, I'll turn it up. Let's try that. Once we've set this, I'm going to kind of leave it at this volume. Something I've... Let's see what... I want to show you something cool. So if I adjust the volume here, something cool we can do on stream here is, let me know if the volume's still alright, is that I can adjust things on the stream, sort of add some plugins and sort of hone in on different frequencies and show you what I'd do to change things. I'm going to go hide that up there. Okay. Just going to read the read the chat for a little bit and see what's happening. Okay. People are liking this. Let's see if anyone's in. Is Intrix in the stream here? Yes, they are. So we'll play that one next, because I don't think this person, Deftorm, is here. So I should be able to just clear this from the stream. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this is Intrix, Heartfelt Pop, and they are in the chat. I'm going to turn this up and we'll take a listen. So I can add comments like this. I love this art that's just sitting here. I really like the way that filter just dives in there. I think obviously this one needs a vocal. This needs some sort of catchy vocal on top of it. I love that the name of the song just perfectly matches that energy. Let's see what the chat thinks of it as well. Yeah, it sounds so wholesome. By Master Yourself, that's what they said. Yeah, exactly. It sounds really, really wholesome. It's just like a very, very good sort of energy track, which is a good difference. There seems like there's a little dissonance there with the suspension. It's interesting. It's an interesting chord choice. It's not actually, I don't think it's out of key or anything. That's just more interesting. I'd love to see what a vocal did on top of that. But this bass, the sort of the kick drum, the percussive nature of it is just super, super addictive. Someone's saying Porter Robinson vibe. I'm going to get a few more stacked up. Just going to turn that down a little bit while I chat. So what I'm going to do here is read the chat, and I'm going to stack up a few more songs if I can find them. Let me get this out of the way. Don't need that. So I'll go back to the start a little bit. This is us. Oh, this is just playing a random song now. Oh no, it's Rusker. So we're going to this one next, and I'll stack up a few more. There's so many messages. This is like impossible. Right. Great energy there, but it does need a bit of a mix. Nice. Take that one down a little bit. Okay, so this is a little bit too. Well, I'll just put it back onto the main camera for a second. This is a little bit more overwhelming in the chat than I expected, but it's good. It's good energy. I just didn't actually think there'd be this many people here. So I'm going to look for a couple of tracks now. I'm looking for Mirage. So let me look for this one here. And I'm looking for Paradise by Dizette. So let me look for this one here. There's just so many tracks you can see here. I'll have to find a way to organize this maybe in a future stream. Yeah, that's right at the start. So second, guys, put this back onto full. If not, I'll just have to put anything on, to be honest, because that's better than nothing. I'm looking for tracks that you might have to say like when you actually submitted it, but it's just getting a bit ridiculous. I'm looking for Desolation as well. This one here, I've heard this one mentioned, Groovy Nostalgia, so I'm going to put that one on while we look. Just so we got something playing. It's better than just silence, isn't it? Cool. Still looking for one by Ledrim. Here we go. This is a really slow start, but it's nice. Sort of like a slow burn. There's so many tracks here, guys. This is ridiculous. I might just have to start calling them out and saying, is this person here? That might genuinely be the best way to do this. I swear I just scrolled through all of them and didn't find that. I'll have to search, yeah. I'm just gonna have to start picking them at random because there's just simply too many tracks here. I could try Control F to search. That's a good idea. Okay. Only one. Ah, there we go. That worked perfectly. Thank you. Thank you, chat, for figuring this out. I'll put this one on. Let's try that. That's cool. Turn this up a little bit. Let me know if it's too loud though, guys. Yeah. These sort of hats, the shakers. Talk in a minute once we've listened. Where this is going. What do we think of this one, chat? Let them know. What would you change? What do you like about it? Really nice. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, really, really super cool. This fill, I think that's what it's called, like a fill or a break. This could be, I think, a lot more interesting. It might just be the genre, but I love what you've done here. The shakers and hi-hats and everything, they're not just like super piercing. They're a little bit more interesting. There's maybe some sort of phasing, flanging on them or something. They sound really cool. And you spend a lot of time, about a minute, sort of getting us into this atmosphere. I think we can be a bit more experimental here. There's a really good idea. There's like the start of an idea there. I'm going to go ahead, see if anything changes later on. I think the chat would agree. In fact, you know what? I'm going to keep this on, but I'm just going to turn it down so it's playing. Giving us some background. I think the chat would agree. All the elements here sound great. I just think the way you're transitioning between things could be a little bit more interesting. What do we think? Yeah, the drop is sick. Like this, people are just saying like, absolute like classic house, that drop's sick. Yeah, everyone loves it. But I just think because everything is so you know, exactly where you'd want it to be, we can afford to be a lot more experimental. I feel you're being very sort of logical with this arrangement, but if you just do things logically, you're going to end up with something that sounds a lot like everybody else's one. Try something, save this version, try something crazy with those breaks. You've already got, no, not breaks, with those, what do we call them, transitions, drum fills. Just try something a lot more interesting and we'll love it. I mean, you can always save this. Now's the time to say, that's working, but completely flip those drum fills on their heads and just try some crazy stuff. In fact, I was listening to Nero's new album this week, and the sorts of fills and transitions, I'm constantly amazed that they're constantly coming up with new stuff. Their new, I think it's called Into the Unknown, their new album. Just listen to a few of those fills and you'll go, ah, I see what you're talking about. You could do all sorts with the bass and snare drums and reverbs and delays, just throw it all over the place. Right, let me find another song. We'll play this one out because it sounds cool. I'll keep it low level. Right, I'm going to look for Empathy. That's what this song's called. Pop that over there. There's so much activity in this folder, it's starting to slow down a little bit. Empathy. Ugh. There we go, let's add this one in. This song we've got is so cool, I just want to let it play out, but let's get on to the next one. Turn this one up a bit. Very interesting start for sure. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. The vocals are really confusing to me because it kind of feels like my headphone jack isn't plugged in. The vocals feel really distant and sort of warped. But that transition, that fill was really cool. You know, sort of compared to the last track we had. If I play this again. No. It was simple. I love when that I love when that bass comes in, but the vocals to me are a bit too confusing there. They're sort of taking me out of the track. Yeah, sounds a bit chaotic, people are saying. Let's try another one. And we'll sort of settle into this. I think this is going to be quite a long stream anyway, so it's all right. Let's see this. Play J. Cole DMB Master. Let's try that. Let's try that. I can see that track was made in 2023, so I want some sort of more fresh songs. I'm going to go In the End by Raven Remix. Thank you, the people that suggested just doing the search here. It makes all the difference. In the End. Not the only, is it? Okay, let's try that. That was made just today.
You never wrapped your arms around me in the night, but I can feel them. I've never
Really nice. I'm going to stack up a few more. What do we think of this one? What does this need? I have a feeling that that guitar would be supplemented by more of a bass guitar. This reminds me a lot of Millennium, and I remember, I can't remember the names of the tracks, but some of them, when that guitar is playing, it's just mirrored perfectly or complemented perfectly by a bass guitar playing very lightly. So these guitar, they're not single notes, they're sort of voicing the chords with the two notes. I don't know what that technique's called. We can hear it though. Three notes, sorry. It's just like a slow arpeggio. Back that up with a bass guitar playing the same notes very low, and it's just gonna, I just think it'll fill the low end up. Then before your drops, your choruses, you know, you'll still take away all the bass anyway. Let me open this track up full. You've still got time to take away the bass and have that chorus be really, really super impactful. See, which is what you want. Not too much going on here. Yeah. That's a nice track. I know some people would say that's sort of quite typical for the genre, but that was done really well. I liked the way you set the scene at the start. It did feel very sort of Millennium-esque. Nice atmosphere, nice guitar playing. I really like that. That was a great track. I'm gonna get the next one in the queue playing, and we'll sort of settle in and see. How do we think about? See, I'm torn between giving loads of detailed feedback and trying to get through more tracks. So what do we think, chat? Do we want me to spend a couple more minutes on each song and really get into it, or would you prefer that I try to get around more? Let's be a little bit democratic here. See how this goes. So this one here, Snowy Isle MP3. There we go. I think I've got to play this again. There we go. Voice is going already very resonant. I like that. I'm just looking for some more tracks while this plays in. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. Oh, it's I see, it's a long atmospheric track. Just queuing up as many as I can, guys. Just still looking through the chat. Okay. I love that pluck that's coming in. How's the volume? The answer to the question was, do you want me to spend more time on each track? And people basically said, if it's their track, spend more time. If not, skip over it. So that's democracy. Get that volume back up. I like this. Obviously, it's a bit of a slow burn, but this is super, super tasteful. I don't know what I'd change. Those plucks sound very sort of like Deadmau5, but super atmospheric. Maybe some really low-level live strings would be really cool in this track. Where are we going? Okay. I think we need a lot more bass on that kick drum, just a ton. You know what? I've got what we need here. And it's quite smooth. If I turn those off, it becomes quite thin. Hopefully this is loud enough, but you can hear how that just is so much more full now. And if I take that off, really thin. Let me go hide those away. Okay, we've actually played that one for like 4 or 5 minutes. That's a really cool track. I'm trying to remember the name of an artist it reminds me of. I think it's John. Is it Hopkins? John Hopkins. He makes basically stuff that sounds exactly like this, but the kick and bass comes in. It's just a lot more full. I would say completely reinforce that kick drum. It's a good shape of kick drum, but I would just say add some sort of like sub oscillator or something, just with a lot more beef. You can really afford to do that. What does the chat think? Let's see. Okay. It's just it's just tracks at the moment. That's all it is. I'm going to get on to the next one. This is going to be the Brothers Rods. I think that's probably Rodriguez. Let me just turn this down a little bit. And I Feel Good demo. I'm going to turn this back up again. The vocal seems a little off with the pitch. Let's skip ahead. Something sounds like a touch dissonant to me, like... Skip ahead a little. I'm a little torn between what's sort of trying to get my attention. There's not that many elements there, but I feel like I'm not sure if I'm supposed to focus on like the really big kick and bass or that synth or that sort of synth lead. And the snare is like super far back in the mix. Turn this on. Yeah, around about here. We need a lot more here. Yeah, I think also the vocal sample could be a lot more interesting. I don't mind songs that just sort of loop onto the same sample, but okay. Okay. The last one I had with the J. Cole DMB, they say it's unreleased, so I'll just throw it up. Why not? I already had it. We'll go on to the next song in the queue, and I'll add that one to the queue as well. Okay.
When I'm scared, I find myself thinking about you. You're out there, and I'm alone in this room. I wonder what
Set the volume up a bit.
and if you think about me too.
Those are some nice vocals. This is amazing. What do we think of this one? Oh, it just keeps lifting. I love it. That's cool. I'm just going to take the volume down a touch. I would say, I think during those choruses, there's something really deep subby going on between like 0 and 20 hertz.
I miss you.
Like all the way down there that's not needed. You won't be able to hear it.
Our love.
That can be fixed in mastering
How
though.
much I miss your touch.
I'll show you what I mean though. I'm just going to skip ahead just to the chorus. It's a great song, but I'm going to skip ahead. This stuff here. When you see that, it can just sometimes be a sign of like a misbehaving plugin. Oh, I'm trying to stack up some more tracks here, but I need to see who it's by. Yeah, it makes it much easier if you have your track, your artist name in it as well. You know what? That one we just had, just before we get into this D&B track, that track was really, really cool. I can't remember even, what was the name of it? Can the chat remind me for a second? Because I had it right there, but that was seriously, seriously cool. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just thought, I honestly, I wouldn't change a thing there. Maybe the vocals could have like a touch smoother, but besides that, that was super, super cool. Okay, let's check this D&B master.
Cold world. Southside, can't get enough. Eastside, westside, worldwide. Ride out. Nah, I ain't got no kids yet, but this right here's for practice. I hate to get the seats in the Benz wet, but that's how good your ass is. Make an old man get his glasses, make Wesley pay his taxes, then follow your moves all week on Twitter. Probably make a gay nigga reconsider. You now rockin' with the best, man. Dress game down to the sex game. Won't rap with the boy been blessed, man. Let you play with the stick, Ovechkin. She calling, she texting, she's falling, but let me explain. Gotta tell your old boyfriend skate, girl, cause a nigga don't play them X games. Nope, straight sexing, no handcuff or arresting. And I ain't coming off on my last name, cause I really can't take no stressing. About where I done been, who I done hit. Your whole girl saying you a bad boy, but I'm signed to the rock, no time for the gossip. Bitch, put down them tabloids.
You told me you made it last year, but it's not released. I don't believe that, because I think that's definitely been released. There's no way. That's such a good. I mean, the mix on that sounds fantastic. I hope that comes across on the YouTube stream. We only got 160, I think, kilobits or bytes per second on the stream, so it's not high quality audio coming through, but that is seriously, seriously good. Anyone saying they want the vocals louder? Do you need my vocals louder, or do you mean the vocals in the track? Let's take a listen again.
London town, hoes holla they love my sound, and I got love for the underground. Quality, Pimp C, H-Town will plunge it down. Met a bad bitch that'll cut all night, that'll suck all night, you just cut off lights. Almost missed my flight, trying to get my last little nut, alright. She be down for whatever, whenever I want to get up in the guts, alright. Never fuss or fight.
So it says J. Cole, your artist name is Sick Boy, I think. You should put it in the chat though, so people can check out your music. I assume you have a Spotify page. That's really, really cool. What would I change there? Absolutely nothing. Maybe, I mean, depending on the sort of genre you're going for, the exact genre, you might want to have a few sections that are a little bit easier, like a little bit lower, something with a little bit of a break, and then back up into the full intensity. But honestly, I was just thoroughly enjoying that anyway. I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I'm going to jump on to the next one, and I see there's an Asher Postman remix, so I'm gonna go cue that one up just while we get started listening to this next track, okay? Because Asher's a good friend of mine, and I'm always up for listening to a remix. Let's play this. That was so much fun, thank you. So this is Dreamy by Thomas Fisker. Oh, that's so smooth. this low end is honestly what I would call like perfect. So you've got that really, and this is for other people when I talked about beefing up the low end, this is what I'm talking about. There appears to be like a really smooth, clean sub going on there. But there's also these sort of upper harmonics, loads of distortion. So if I take a listen to the kick drums. You've got loads of noise here. Just here. So each time that kick drum or the 808 hits, you've got that noise which is sort of almost at 1,000 hertz, so nowhere near the bass. And that's really crunchy. But importantly, the bass itself doesn't seem very distorted, so you've got this super transient bass that's, at least here, it's going to be smacking the speakers out, whether you're in the car or you've got a subwoofer. It's just taking up so much space, and I love it. And that's the test. If it makes you want to move and makes you want to sort of, you know, bop around and bob your head, oh yeah. I mean, honestly, the kick drums and bass might even be too big. I don't know what the chat thinks. Let me see if there's other people are noticing stuff on the spectrum that I'm not noticing. Let's play this again. Yeah, so when you have like a low end rumble down here, now it's very low level. I don't want to get into this too much. If you see stuff on your spectrum sort of below 20 hertz, sometimes it's not really there. It can be the spectrum trying to, how do I describe this? It can be the spectrum sort of misreading something there, but it can be a sign that there's a plugin or something outputting a really low frequency noise. It could be baked into the 808 sample, could be the kick, could be anything else really, which is why sometimes if you see that, you might want to sort of cut that away. But that doesn't mean you have to high pass everything. We're not getting into that in this stream. I think the hi-hats here could also be like a little bit more interesting. It's quite like a sort of normal sample. Yeah, everything's creating a lot of bounce, and I love that. But the hi-hats themselves, I think they could be even more grooved. And this is one of these times where I'm not a huge fan of just producing everything from loops, because if every single track's a loop, whose song is it really? But if you can get hi-hat loops, why am I saying so much? I know this. If you have hi-hat loops that are recorded like on an actual drum kit, people can underestimate. If you don't drum, if you don't know any drummers, it can be difficult to appreciate just how much groove they really add to something. Just the hi-hats being ever so slightly pushed and pulled in time, a hi-hat loop itself can just add all of that bounce. And I think the hi-hats here aren't as groovy as everything else that's going on. One more listen. This is amazing. So this is Thomas Fisker. How long have you been making music for? Nice. That just really, really nice and smooth. I've got a couple more tracks to search for here. Look for Orange Rainbow, and we'll get this. But honestly, Thomas, I wouldn't change anything. Things sound almost too punchy, but that's quite good, because once that goes into mastering, some of those peaks will get sliced down anyway. Just needs, well, it doesn't need vocals. Just sounded super, super groovy. Really, really like that. You guys have got to start submitting some stuff that's what have we got here? Orange Rainbow. There we go. You've got to start submitting stuff that's bad, so that I can give feedback on it. You guys are too talented. Okay. The next one was that Asher Postman remix. So you'll see, thank you to the person that suggested I use Command F or Control F to search, because if I wasn't using that, we'd be in big trouble right now. Asher Postman remix, let's go. This is by Sid. Yep, sounds like Postman.
I've been stuck here for hours. I just sit in the shower till it runs cold. Million miles an hour. My thoughts overpower.
This is so cool.
All I'm sure, but I'm supposed to tell you that I'm fine. Shadows sentiment, cement the shadows in my mind. So it's okay, it's alright. I get a little lost in my feelings sometimes. Don't wait up, I'm reeling from the pain with my heart on the line. No way to medicate, no, I'll be fine tonight today. Yeah, it's okay.
This is amazing.
It's alright.
So good.
Get lost in my feelings tonight.
Sorry, Asher, I don't mean to pause on his section. I like that chorus even more than the original song, which is crazy because I love Asher's music. If you're not following Asher, he does fantastic YouTube tutorials as well. He's a really, really super talented and hardworking artist. I think he's in Nashville. And he's got loads of original music. He's run remix contests, all sort of stuff. That's Asher Postman. Yeah, this just sounds super dreamy. It's like it really respects their production. But you've clearly added loads of your own stuff to it. What would we do here if I play this track again? What would you guys do to change, or not like volume, just what would we do to change this up a little bit?
I just need a minute.
Is there anything that's sticking out?
Cause I'm sick of pushing back all the things that I feel. I need to be sad if I'm gonna be real. Driving all night doing a track out of the city.
Maybe the sidechain could be a lot stronger. I'm pretty sure there is a sidechain there, but you could do that to throw the track around. Let me go to the chorus again.
I'm reeling from the pain with my heart on the line. No way to medicate, no, I'll be fine tonight today. And it's okay, it's alright. Gonna get lost in the feelings tonight.
This is so cool.
I won't bottle them up inside, 'cause feelings buried alive never die. These emotions come and go all the
Adding a few more.
Tonight I don't mind. It's okay, it's alright. Get a little lost from my feelings sometimes. Don't wait up, I'm reeling from the pain with my heart on the line. No way to medicate, no, I'll be fine tonight today. Yeah, it's okay, it's alright. I'm gonna get lost in my feelings tonight. Get a little lost in my feelings sometimes. Don't wait up,
It's amazing. I'm so sorry to pause it. Yeah, that sounds amazing. That is a truly excellent remix. So let's get on to something that I can actually give some feedback to, okay? So I've queued up a few here. We can see the queue here. I'll open it up. We got 4 or 5 sitting there. Let's play. Okay, lots of reverb on the drums. Right away, what I'm hearing is the drums and bass don't seem to exist in the same place yet. This might change. The bass is super full, present, proximal, it's close. Sounds like the bass guitar is right at the front of the stage. It sounds like the drum kit is on the other side of the hall. Same with that Rhodes, or is it Rhodes or E-piano? Yeah, same with that Rhodes. It sounds like they're right here in front of me, with me at the desk, but the drum kit sounds like it's all the way away. So I would say when you're using the reverb here to create a space, let's just get everything in the same cohesive space. I think that would be like a great place to start. Does anyone else feel the same way, or do we like that reverb? Am I just being like really, really harsh? Because there's not much bass going on here. The bass guitar, you can hear the bass guitar for sure. If I widen this band a little bit, we can all hear that bass guitar, but I don't really hear the kick drum. Oh, because there isn't a kick drum during that part. Never mind. Right, I'll listen a little bit longer. So what I think's happening is, I think you're probably a little afraid to let the instruments in your production and your voice shine. So I think you're drowning things out with a bit of verb, a bit of delay. Really common. Many of us, in fact almost all of us, do this at some point. If we're not really confident with something, we just sort of drown it with effects. I would say start by stripping that all off. Make sure that you're really happy with how things are sounding, and then add tasteful little bits of verb. Maybe add a delay throw on the Rhodes or the vocals. Maybe add a little bit of verb on the drum kit as a send, so that you keep all of that low end. Clean it up a bit, and then once it's all clean, you could throw like a reverb on the master bus if you really want to, like a really low level, and get everything in a hall or in a space. But I'd start by kind of cleaning it up, get a bit of saturation in there though, keep it sounding cool. Especially saturate that Rhodes, just make things sound cool, and then put it in a reverb space. What does the chat think? That's quite fair? I think that's quite fair. Let's go to the next one in the queue. Right, so this is Archie XL Feel It All demo. That sounds slightly brat at the start. I don't know what it is about maybe the bass. Right, those vocals, those what we say, runs, those chants, those hays, I would probably stack those hays up. So maybe record like 4 or 5, keep them low, pan them around, different harmonies. Make it an effect. Maybe add like really subtle vocoding on that. Just make that take us somewhere, because the vocal you've got here is like quite crispy, quite clean. Some nice effects, some nice effects on that. This bit here, this kick snare bit, that almost somehow reminds me of sort of like Daft Punk or something. Not really overall, but it gives me that kind of feeling. And then these hays, I just think they could do so much more. Like you say, I can feel it all. The vocal's like right in front of you. You what? Super narrow. It's right there. I think those hays could just spread out and do like take the listener somewhere and then lock you back into the vocal. When you do that with the harmonies, ad-libs, anything like that, when you make them wide like ear candy, it makes you focus on that lead vocal again when it comes in. But if everything's just in the center, at some point a listener might just start sort of losing attention a little bit. It sort of drifts around. What do we think? Does that sound fair? Let's just see what I've got here as well. I've got a few more. I'm going to add Rohin, Let It Rain to the chat. I'm going to the stream. I need to calm down a little bit. There's so many people viewing. This is like sort of crazy. Okay. Yeah, if possible, try to not spam. In fact, please, I wish I had some more comment moderators here. I do have mods, but I don't know if they're all here. Try not to spam your one in the chat. It's just a little bit too much. What I'm going to do is I'll ask you when I want you to put your artist name and track name in the chat. Then I'll look. But the rest of the time, let's just focus on the track that's playing to make it really fair on the artist. It's not just about getting your track played. It's definitely about supporting and propping up the people that have their tracks here. Now, I've only listened to the start of this song, so it would be a bit unfair to go a little bit further. This looks like it might be some kind of bridge or break. So tell me what you wanna, where you wanna go. That's cool. Right, this snare, this was really cool. I like the vocals actually. I think they're sounding better than the start. The snare sort of comes in and says, listen to me, I'm a snare, I'm keeping the time. I think we could do something cooler with that. Or, sorry, it's like a snare clap, sorry. The snare sounds better when the kick's there. It sounds a little bit much on its own. I wonder if there's something else we could do to keep time. Maybe some sort of like something arpeggiated, something that's keeping the time a bit better for the listener. I don't even know if it needs a snare. Let me think about it. What would you guys do? Oh, someone says, can we enable slow mode? Okay, of course. Let me try and I need to just quickly, what I'm going to do is play the next track, and I'm going to go into the live stream settings and enable slow mode. I thought I had that enabled, clearly not. So let's listen to this one. Okay. Another little slow burn there. Let me open this up. Slow mode will be enabled in just a moment, folks. Okay. That's really cool. I don't... So, just going to pause this track for a second. Can you hear my voice when a track's playing? Because I don't want to talk on top of it if you can't even hear it anyway. The slow mode is not there, which is crazy. All I can do is time out individual users if I see them constantly spamming. So if you constantly spam, I will put you in a timeout. If you post 2 or 3 messages in a minute, just asking for your song to be played, someone's going to put you in a timeout, me or one of the mods. Okay. This isn't everybody. 99% of you guys, 350 of you in this stream are being super respectful. There's always just 1 or 2 people who are just gonna spam it, and that's ruins it for everyone else. But we're here. So I was listening to this one. It sounds really cool. I'm just gonna sort of lock in for a second. So the only thing I'm going to say, which is kind of unfair, is that it gets a bit repetitive. Obviously, if there were some beautiful vocals on there or something, it wouldn't sound so repetitive. The hi-hats in this track sound like they're doing an awful lot more than some of the tracks. They're definitely very, very groovy. I like it a lot. I'm hearing a lot of the kick top, which is great. Maybe if there was a vocal that would be masked. I would probably try to shift the kick just a little bit more subby, maybe a little bit more sort of like 30 hertz on the kick, a little less 50 hertz, maybe a little less here, maybe a little bit more of that noise. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna get on to the next track. This is a cool track, but it's there's just not a whole lot happening yet. And yeah, someone said, yeah, it just needs someone with funky vocals, like vocals, a bit of talk box or something like that, and it's gonna sound really, really cool. Of course, I accept submissions with instrumentals, vocals. I hate when the only feedback is like it needs vocals, but that track was pretty cool, pretty groovy. I think the vocal sample could also dictate some breaks and some pauses in that track. Let's see what else was next in the queue. There was definitely a few things queued up here. I don't remember adding this one. Sure. Let's see what we've got. This is Rest Stop. Take a listen. Oh, sorry. I think it's frozen because I've got my plugin on here. Go back. It freezes up for a second when lots of people submit new songs. What I'm going to do, the chat's asking if I can go to some of the people who sort of submitted first. So I'll do that. I'll go find some, maybe the first sort of 50 tracks that were submitted, and we'll try and find something there. So if you submitted a track on, let me get this. If you submitted a track on the 17th when I first announced this, so one of these ones, if we've got anyone here, or Annihilate, nothing I can do. If anyone hears their Clove demo, is Tremolo here? Because we could give them some feedback. We played their track, but we didn't give them feedback. So let's see. Pastor Yay is here, so I'm going to add that to the queue. I see you there. The chat's making a lot more sense now, so thank you. Okay. Cool. Right, let's get the next track playing. Should be... Cool, the vocals need... no, not the vocals. The vocals would be fine. The drums just need to be much louder, in my opinion. It's a drum kit. If you've ever been in a room with a drum kit, it's a huge, massive, tonal, room-filling sound. Let's get a little bit more of that. These drums are very, very quiet. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. There's some groovy stuff going on there, for sure. Yeah, that the vocal processing there is also cool. I see what you're trying to do with this. I just think it's going to sound a lot cool if you beef those drums up, maybe get a little bit of saturation, crunch on them. Don't drive it too far. Then your vocals are going to have some support. Because the vocals, I think the chat would probably agree, the vocals, they sound like they're kind of on their own and they're having to do a lot of work here. And I've just found a bit without vocals. Yeah, those, everything else is sitting in just a fine place. It's groovy, it's funky, it just needs those drums to be way, way louder. People are asking how long I'm going to stream for. We've just hit 1 hour and it feels like I've been streaming for about 7 minutes, so I'm definitely up for another hour for sure. So, grab yourself a cup of tea or something, get some water or something. Maybe a snack. Yeah, I'm nowhere near finished with this. I don't know if anyone's keeping track on how many songs we've done, but I'm going to start this next song playing. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you... okay, so Ilmo is what I'm going to put on next. I'm looking at the chat. I want to see people that submitted on the 17th, who submitted early.
You can't imagine it isn't over yet. There was no light for a long, long time, but we got a mind reset. And we still keep struggling, but we know what we're fighting for. Trying to find the key that opens us the final door.
So this one has way too much bass in my opinion. Just turn that on and off. Hopefully you hear that it sounds a bit cleaner after that. But it should still sound like it has a lot of energy, a lot of attitude. When I say words like clean up, I'm not looking to clean up tracks. I like things that have a lot of personality. In fact, I've got some saturation plugins I can throw on this in a second. I think that bass there, it's gone past the point of providing groove. Oh, wait a minute. It says that my frame rate's sort of dropping a bit. Let me know if things... let me know if this still looks and feels fine. But anyway, yeah, people were saying 150 hertz was too much, which is what I was trying to kind of automate down here, even with a bit of dynamic EQ, but it was just on the whole time. Take another quick listen. So around here, it's just grumbling a bit. Yeah, when the bass is too full and too sort of on, too full the whole time, what ends up happening is you go past the point of it adding groove to the track, and it just sort of blows the speakers out. But I think you've got so many really good sort of production elements there. I think you need to let other things breathe a little bit more. Take a little bit of that low end out, and I think it's more than just side chaining. I think it's a case of just turning the bass fader down or the kick fader down slightly in the sub and seeing where that takes you. But besides that, really cool track, great production. So I'm going to see what's next on the queue. Let's see if the stream still looks good. So this is one of the first ones submitted, so please don't let me down. I hope this isn't just crazy. Let's start with the volume down a little bit. It's a strong start. That has so much attitude. Oh yeah. All right, that is what I'm talking about. To one of the maybe 10 tracks ago when I was saying do something a little bit more interesting, even just this is quite simple. Oh. Because what it does is you're locked into the zone, and then all of a sudden this thing just throws you about and you're like, whoa, and then you're thrown back into the sort of chorus again or drop. Brilliant stuff. Fantastic engineering on that. Okay. Okay, this section, this drop has a lot more high end. I was going to add a bit of treble through this section, and then already it's sort of blown out. If you were in the car or you were listening, you'd probably have adjusted for, say, this. I'll tell you what. Oh no. Let me just go back there. You probably would have adjusted for this section, but then this section here already has like tons and tons of treble. So let me just adjust that. Okay, I need to put someone in timeout. Okay, 1 second there. Just give me 1 second. Great. So my mods are telling me who to put in timeout, which is very, very helpful. So thank you. I'm just gonna. Thank you, team. This is amazing. I say mods. This is actually my wife is helping to moderate the chat. Right. If people are spamming the chat, just ignore them. And if I pull up a track, what I like about Boombox is it lets you add this timestamp feedback. So I use this for all my mastering clients. And what I would say is if I just X that out, I'd probably say, right, this section, you know, like too much treble compared to the last section. You can just add probably a typo in there somewhere. That sounds a little bit harsh. Obviously, you could add sentences and make it nice, but now we've got timestamp feedback. They can then reply to that. They can upload new versions. It's a collaborative tool that helps us do this. Obviously, during these streams, I'm actually just telling you what I think, so it'd be pointless for me to be typing as well, but you can select points, you can add in, have a bit of a conversation, because what I hate, well, hate's a strong word. When I'm working with artists and clients, we don't want just email threads just full. Oh no. I've been full screen. Oh my goodness. That's rubbish, right? So I'm going to do that again. What I'm trying to show you is you can select little regions and say, you know, you can add comments or whatever. I'm not going to type it all out because I can't talk and type something different at the same time. What a blunder. So you can add comments on sections. So what I was doing here was saying that this area here had too much treble compared to the last area. And when I'm working with clients mixing, mastering, this helps you keep everything in one place as opposed to having multiple emails, splitting your feedback between iMessage, emails, Instagram, DMs. You can just have it all here in one place. So let's go to the next submission. That was some really, really great feedback. I must admit, this genre is one that I have zero experience producing, so I wouldn't really be able to give you production feedback on it. See who else we've got. Thank you for those who have told me that you couldn't see the screen. It's I'm not a professional streamer or anything like that, but look, I'm wanting to do these sorts of streams every 2 weeks. So hopefully we can get into a rhythm where this feels a lot more sort of like natural and easy. You can see it's already taken me like an hour and 10 minutes just to kind of settle into a rhythm here. I had no idea how many tracks we'd get through or anything like that. Serena is asking me, Serena Rose saying, do you do metal? I would accept metal submissions, absolutely. And someone is asking for, I need to see who I need to time out. Right, there's a few people I need to time out, so I'm going to get the next track playing while I time out a few people. Hope this one's all right. Thank you, mods. That was very crunchy, this track. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit, so if your volume is very loud, just be careful. Something very distracting there. Some kind of vocal all the way far back. Not so sure about that one. Okay, cool. I like the sort of groove, but there's just some super reverb, like howl vocal all the way back that's just sending me out. Yeah, that howl sort of chant just takes me right out of it, unfortunately. Let's add this one on. They were asking for a while. And then Tremolo's here, so I'm going to add their track in because they were one of the first. I played them during the intro, but we didn't give them feedback. So cool.
Can I tell you just one thing?
I love this.
I'm overwhelmed with emotion. Do you know I can feel so high? All the glory in the world, it don't compare. I will never say goodbye. It's so numbing when I'm there. You know it's true. I feel it, I was in denial, but if you give me that, finally be alright. No, can't go without it. I was trying to hide it, I'm dying just to be with you. Oh, so let it rain, and I feel it so deep, coursing through my veins. And you know it, I can't stop it, so let it rain. Cause I need it, and without it, I won't be the same.
This is super, super cool.
You know that I can't stop it, so just let it rain. I can never let you go, cause I never felt this way before. I'll be coming back for more, till you won't keep on giving anymore. And I give my everything, but I'll keep giving forever.
Piano's amazing.
Cause you know it's it's true, I feel it. I was in denial, but if you can make me finally be alright, no, you can't go without it. I was trying to hide it. I'm dying just to be with you. Ooh. So let it rain, and I feel it so deep.
So sorry, chat, to pause that there. I'm going to say some feedback that I had there. Love this track, super, super groovy. I hope this isn't someone that was spamming. I heard some people talking about a spammer. I hope this one isn't it. This has such sort of SG Lewis vibes. People were saying like Daft Punk, Justin Timberlake, vocal melody, groovy like Daft Punk. See, the chat knows exactly what's going on here. I think this section here, you have a great chance to completely take the vocals to outer space and do something different, and then lock them back in for the chorus.
I feel it. I was in denial, but if you can make me finally be alright.
I mean, like, everything you're doing to support the vocals is fantastic. That's a chance to say, right, save this and maybe just try ridiculous. It could be vocoding and reverb. It could be delay throws. I'm not sure what it would be. You could put those vocals, you could filter them out, try different stuff. You know, just load up a bunch of plugins and see what happens, because that's a chance to really take things into outer space. What do we think? Does anyone agree? And then it would come, the effect would be coming off, and then it would lock in. Oh no, missed it. I love this. This is so good.
And without it, I won't be the same. And you know that I can stop it, so just let it rain. And I feel it so deep, coursing through my veins. And you know it, I can't stop it, so
It's
let
amazing.
it rain. Cause I need it, and without it, I won't be the same. And you know it, I can't stop it now. You know I want it so much. You know I can't get enough. You know it's never too much, just let it rain.
We have to let this one finish, don't we?
If you would stop it, so just let it rain. And I feel it so deep, coursing through my veins. And you know it, I can't stop it, so let it rain.
I'm adding a fade out because that's what this song deserves. It's funny. I give a discount to mastering clients that want to put a fade out at the end of a song because I just think fade outs are so... so I'm going to pause this one just before we get... I think fade outs are so underrated when something just fades away like that. It keeps the energy going. Once the song's finished, you're just, you know, you're driving or you're just listening and you're still sort of keeps the energy. Whereas when songs just stop all of a sudden, it's like, oh, that's a shame, it's over. This song, Rohin, Let It Rain, you know what, put it back there. This is the kind of song that you don't really want that to finish. Super, super fun. What would I do differently? Maybe at times the low end feels a touch congested, but I'd have to listen to a bunch of other tracks in the genre. Someone was like, it's good, but it's not EDM. Come on. People are asking about like formats as well. I'm still accepting submissions even during this stream. But you can have MP3, WAV, whatever, it doesn't matter. And if you upload the song and you forgot the track name and title, just upload it again. It's no bother at all. So we have a new one here by Jason Solo, and then I'm going to ask for more submissions for the queue, but not yet, because we've still got a few to get round to. I've got to turn the volume up here, so just be careful, okay? If you've got things turned very loud.
Some days I don't know where I've been lost, locked up in my head, can't find the key. I just wanna leave. Everyone I know keeps passing me by.
I like that
but
kick
they
drum.
don't make it, I just lie here in my bed. I might as well be dead. I'm sleeping until 3 p.m. When did I crash? I can't remember when.
Okay, that section, this is really, really nice intro. That section there, I would just bring the level of all your supporting elements up. There's something adding some rhythm there. I need to go take another listen, whether it's the synth or the guitars. Just here, just pull it up.
I'm sleeping until 3 p.m. When did
Yeah, those guitars on the sides, they're just like, they're right there in the left and right. Just pull those up, like 5 dB or something. Pull them all the
I
way up.
crash? I can't remember when. play the same old trend. Yeah, someone lend me a hand. I don't wanna miss out, miss out. My mind is
I'm just going to go back to that section and show you what I mean. So this is on the sides. There you go, on the sides. You can hear those guitars. Let's just pull those all the way up because they're really low.
yeah, someone lend me a hand.
Let's listen to this bit.
I don't wanna miss out, miss out. My mind is screaming so loud, so loud. And I just wanna break down, break down. Life's been kind of rough these days. I don't wanna miss out, miss out. Feel every bone.
Let's get those guitars really working. They've got a lot of chug. They've got like a chugga ugga kind of like low end to them. Let's get some brightness in there on those guitars. A little bit more energy. I'm going to try to add some plugins and show you what I mean by adding more energy. Like, let's lift this thing up. Got to get this plugins loaded up. You'll see what I mean. Let's just give this thing some attitude, because like it's a powerful song and you want to, you know, you want the energy to match those vocals. Vocal layers here could work, people are saying as well. Let's take a listen, right?
Wanna miss out, miss out. My mind is screaming so loud, so loud. And I just wanna break down, break down. Life's been kind of rough these days. I don't wanna miss out, miss out. Feel every bone in me shout. Someone get me out of this house.
You know, you're saying you hear every bone and you shout. Let's shout. Let's get some layers in there. When you say, you know, I think is it every bone in me shout? You want those me shouts. You want those to be vocal layers. Like, let's support your voice. Brighten up your voice a touch. It's very smooth. We need a little bit more treble there. People are saying, yeah, the vocals are loud, but the track isn't as loud and full. So what you've got is, because you only have like one vocal, I think. I need to listen again. It sounds a lot like you're trying to do a lot with the volume. I've got more moderation here. I need to time out some more people. It sounds like because you only have the one track there on the vocal, you're trying to do, you know what, actually, my moderators can do this. So yeah, if you had more vocals, you could have them all be lower and let the track come around it, and then it would probably work better. But look, if I turn these plugins off, let's go back to where it was, right? And then I'm going to turn these on, and you'll hear what I mean. Everything's just going to sound like it's got so much more attitude, hopefully.
Break down. Life's been kind of rough these days. I don't wanna miss out, miss out. Feel every bone in me shout.
There we go.
Me shout. Someone get me out of this house, this house. I'm tired of being stuck in this place. Some days I feel
This is basically saturation, a bunch of saturation clipping. This is quite rough, heavy-handed here, but you know, you can hear this hitting the vocals, hitting the guitars. Everything just sounds so much more full. What do we think? Right, so let me go and mute a few people. I'm really sorry. I should have a bunch more. I think maybe I've set up all my mods, but I have a feeling that YouTube's messing something up and not giving my mods the permissions they're supposed to have, because they're struggling to actually mute and moderate messages. Anyway, I'm not going to let all that negative stuff drag this stream down. You know, if you can try and ignore people that are spamming, let's just keep this energy good. So what I'm going to do here is I'll use some feedback. Hopefully they're still here in the chat, but I'm just going to do some feedback to say, you know, add more treble, vocal layers. What else did we say? We needed to pull the instrumental up. Maybe like more compression on the piano, something like that. Like just more tone in general, more saturation. One second, guys. I'm just sorting some stuff out with the mods. Okay, let's listen. Let's skip ahead a bit to this chorus. This one's sounding good. What else would anyone else do for this? Let's see this.
stuck in this place.
Things just become a bit mushy when I take my processing off. I don't know how this sounds on the stream. Hopefully it sounds as good as it does in my headphones. Okay, I can see someone else that I need to time out. Cool. Nice. So we've got the next track here. Let's take a listen. But honestly, I think the track is called FOMO, Fear of Missing Out by Jason Solo. Fantastic track. Also a very vulnerable track, the lyrics. So, you know, thanks for submitting that and sharing it with us. That I think that sounds amazing. Definitely brighten up the vocals. So you've got great voice there. So just take the volume down a little bit more treble, a little less lower mids, and it should sound really polished. A bit more compression there, but fast release on the compression so that it's not squashing down the words, and this thing's going to sound fantastic. This is called a Barista by Guido La Rosa, I think. There we go. Okay.
Caffè, latte, flat white.
That makes sense.
Ristretto, lungo. Latte, macchiato, caffè americano. Ristretto,
Let's skip ahead a bit.
caffè americano. Un cappuccino d'arte, crema vellutata.
That one's fun, but I don't think there's much I could really. I thought it was like Stranger Things at the start, and then you got a nice voice, but I don't think there's much I can give feedback on there. It's fun though. I'll play that out into the next one.
Sorriso che parte, mocha che canta, storia nel bicchiere, sapore che abbraccia.
So this is Closer by Tremolo. One of the first submitted. I'm gonna let this play out a bit while I look through the messages. This is so peaceful. I love it. Might turn this one up a little bit, guys. Super peaceful. I've got some of the similar feedback to other people where I think maybe the liquid sort of samples a bit high in volume, but besides that, do people notice how the hats or the shakers are dancing around? They go right to left, they go up and down in volume, and this just creates so much groove on its own. There's nowhere to really hide in a track like this. You can't have just a hi-hat going, this is a hi-hat the whole time, or a snare or something like that. So this is what I was talking about when using drum loops. Those hi-hats might be loops, they might be samples, but either way, Tremolo has automated them or done some manual editing to make them go up and down in volume and around the stereo field, and it just adds a lot of rhythm. That's nice. So what I'm going to do is, we can see the queue is looking very empty. So now I'm going to accept some more suggestions. So let's hear it. Someone said send this to Lo-Fi Girl. Yeah, I'd study to this. Okay, I'm reading the chat right now. Let's see. Canned Ice, that's the next one. Let's add Canned Ice, Ultra Lagoon. Add to queue. Right, let's look again. Let's see who commented next. The chat's just going absolutely crazy. Okay. I am truly just picking these at random, folks. I'm just seeing. This is why it's really important to have the track name and artist name in the title, otherwise I just can't find it on stream. But we're doing good, we're getting loads here. Unbroken Sky. There we go, see? That's a FLAC, so hopefully that opens up okay. Okay. Try this. Thank you, Tremolo, for giving us a track that sounds so... That's me done with this, the cue for now. I'm going to add some more a little bit later, but thank you for giving us something really, really chill to listen to while I add some more to the stream. There's no real feedback you can give for a track like that. It sounds really cool. Everything there is just personal taste, and I loved the space and atmosphere you created. Importantly for other people who I maybe gave feedback to, notice how they created a bunch of atmosphere, but there was still a lot of really smooth, nice low end. So it still filled out the track. It still sounded great. It was very satisfying to listen to. It wasn't all just airy reverbs, so it sounded nice. Also, guys, how's the quality of the stream? Sounds good, looks good. I'm not getting too many dropped frames. It hasn't got like 10% dropped or something like that. It is a miracle that this stream even works. I live in the remote Scottish Highlands, like satellite internet. So if this is looking and sounding good at all, that's a miracle. Let's listen to a few more tracks. Turn this down a little bit. Oh no. Sorry guys, I've muted it by mistake. I love that, like, is that a Juno or a Jupiter? I'll try to open up this track here. To have frozen everything. What I'm gonna have to do is take a look at the queue. I just added a bunch of stuff to the queue. That's a real shame. I'm gonna have to refresh this page. I think I've broken it. Let me take the audio down there. What I'll do is, we're not having like too bad technical issues, but I'm just going to put this, I'm just going to put my technical issues screen up while I quickly refresh the page and get this sorted out. Okay, now unfortunately that cleared the ones that I had just queued up, which is a great shame, but we do have it all back. So add, I know that I had one called Juno. I'm going to add that one back. I'm pretty sure it was called Juno, or was it? Let me see. Does anyone remember which songs I had that I was about to queue? That's a real shame. Maybe I need to go back. Yeah, I think what someone's saying next time, right? This person, Lidrim, is saying maybe next time we should have like some sort of randomizer. So I take all the tracks that are submitted, put them into a document or something, just randomize it like a roulette, and then it just spits out names at me every couple of minutes. I think that would be much better than spamming the chat like this. I thought that doing it in the chat would be, you know, kind of get people chatting, but I can see it's too much. I didn't expect to have 300 people watching at a time or anything like that. Okay, I wish I could remember which tracks I had queued up, because it seems really unfair not to play them. But yeah, let's just get something playing for the meantime. So let's see this. Okay, and anything in capitals is not getting played. I'm going to do this one, 32 degrees. Let's just get this one playing while we try to queue up some more tracks.
I cannot say for sure why I like to keep it colder.
That's a strong start. I'm just going to skip ahead a bit.
There's so much that I want to see. Take a
The vocals just need to be in tune. I'll move to something else, but the any track where the vocals aren't in tune, I just think that needs to be sorted and along with the production before anything else. And then you can get detail with the feedback. I'm building up a queue now, so I'm going to be looking at the chat. That bell or the vocal sounds a little bit atonal. Let's take a listen. It was all sounding good before that, though. Okay, so these ones are people in the chat now, so let's jump ahead to this. Wait, we already listened to this one. We totally already listened to this one earlier. This is the one that sounds a bit like... Maybe I'm wrong. Is this the one that sounded like a Lenium? Pretty sure it was.
I was young, I was dumb then.
No, I don't think we did.
Self-esteem, girl, you're everything I didn't need, but I think that's probably why we never got that far. Making out in my broke down car, tried to change me, I was too far gone, but can't you see I'm better now? Don't go breaking my heart just because I broke yours. It wasn't my fault. Don't say this is the end when we know there is more.
Let's take a listen to this one then. No doubt that there's loads and loads of energy there. I feel the mix sounds a little bit mono. I was actually checking my monitor here to make sure it wasn't folded in a bit. What does the chat think? It sounds a little maybe like maybe it's really loud and it's hitting the limiter and everything's sort of folding in a little bit. Yeah. There's too much there. Let's go back to the chorus. So sorry for the silence. I'm really trying to listen and pay attention. It's very difficult to... It's more difficult than I thought to talk and listen at the same time. I think there is width there. I just think the side channels don't have enough mids and low mids. I feel like maybe the things that have been panned out and spread out, the super saws, everything, maybe they're lacking a little bit in the sort of 300-400 hertz, or maybe even a little bit lower. If you can add that onto the sides, it sounds... it should sound a lot more pleasant. I'll try and show you what I mean. if I go to stereo placement sides, we'll just go back to the chorus here. Just checking my mods. And then we'll go here. This bit here, this is the side channels, the mids. Do you notice how that, it's very quiet, but it's going to add a lot of fullness if that gets boosted up a bit. That kind of thing is going to give it a ton of space. Cool. Nice track, nice vocals. Let's skip ahead. Tremolo said the saws are too thin, and that's probably all that I'm hearing actually. Then I'm looking for more 300, 400 hertz. Maybe it's not even just the side channel. Maybe it's just in general they could have a little bit more. It feels like maybe you've cleaned the tracks up a little too much, and now you need to allow a little bit of low end back into some of them. So let's try another track. This is Ledrim. Go. And they've been asking since the very start of the stream, so. Okay. And there's definitely some dissonance in the piano. It might be just the detuning, it might be notes that are a bit experimental. Maybe it's trying to be spooky, but there's probably other ways to do that. The drums sound really cohesive though, and I like that you're trying to do the effects like the reverse and whatnots on the piano, pulling that in. I think you should probably go back to the arrangement of those chords, the melodies on the piano. Make sure everything's definitely in key. Make sure there's not too much detuning on the piano. I think that's probably what anyone else would say. But the drums are good. The drums, they're nice and cohesive. They're all in the same space. This one I'm interested about. It says Whisper of the Mummies. I'm absolutely crazy about ancient Egypt, so don't let me down, okay? Here we go. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Something different. That's the one that gives me bass face. Nice. I'm sorry to skip ahead. I wanna see where this goes. It's such a long track. I wasn't predicting that. I want to see what this transition does. So I would say this one's interesting because, well, we'll get to the middle of the track. This start is just super cool. Really sets the scene. And the percussion you've got there is so transient. I wish this came across in stream. If you've got headphones on, you can feel it moving the membrane. Just tickles the ears. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And because this is already so experimental, see what? It's easier to talk like this. Because this one's already so experimental, I wouldn't be afraid of doing completely crazy things with it. It feels like it starts and you've created this space that the track's going to live inside. And then as the track goes on, I'm having fun changing between these scenes like this. I'm new to streaming. As the track goes on, things sound like they become more simple and more sort of boxed in, I suppose. Like, I do like those guitars though. Pull those up, more distortion, just have those screaming off in the background, more reverb. It sounds almost like those guitars are like Resident Evil or something like that. They're 28 Days Later sort of zombie film guitars. Take a listen. But they just need to be way crunchier, way more distortion, loads more reverb. I think you can afford to be a lot more experimental. Use some of those sounds from the start. This, what do we call it? It's a fill. That's the word I'm looking for. This fill here. I get that you're using that melody, but then the melody doesn't really go on to do very much in this section. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm on the right screen. Good. Like, you introduce this melody in the fill. But it's not loud enough to really sustain through that drop. So either the guitar, maybe introduce the guitars during that fill, have them do some kind of like chugging shred or something. I don't know. I'm not as good on guitar as I wish I was. I wish I could give you something really cool to say there. Yeah, someone said 28 Days Later soundtrack is great. And this kind of, those guitars there give me that kind of feel. I just want to see what's going on later in the track, if you don't mind. It's sort of like the same, but with sort of more kick drums, more percussion. And I just say, let's save this. And now let's try something really experimental. I feel like we're just adding more and more and more here, because maybe this first section here, maybe this needs sort of like get some more ideas flowing or something like that. Well, let's actually spell that right. You know, like more variety or something. And then I can post that comment. For anyone that wasn't here earlier, this is why I love using Boombox. I use this for my mastering clients. Until you could use mixing clients. If you're working with people on projects, songs, collaborating, you've got all your files in one place and you can just add feedback on specific sections or parts of the track, and then you can reply to that feedback. It keeps it all in one place, as opposed to, you know, dealing with direct messages, Instagram, iMessage, email threads, just full of random bits of feedback. You can actually just put it on the track. I love it. Let's go to the next track that we have queued up. If we even have anything queued up, let's see. This one, Never Roam Alone. Take a look. I want to say The Whisper of the Mummies. You didn't let me down. I really liked that one, especially the start. I wished it went to the place that the intro was setting it up for. I feel like that intro, I haven't heard anything quite like that. It was experimental but tasteful. I really liked it. I'm going to turn the volume up a bit because I can tell this is a bit quiet. Okay, a little bit of dissonance, but it's kind of cool. The vocals are so quiet. I'm going to turn it up again. I'm going to skip ahead. So this whole track here is just really dark. We need like that. Lots of low end. Let's get Reviver in there. Let's get some low end, right? Now if I turn this stuff off, you see we need, this is crazy, like this is a ridiculous EQ curve, like someone's gonna screenshot this and say that I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but like more beef, more treble. Let's turn this off. You hear how dark and muddy that is. There's a little too much distortion even before I boost anything here. It's already crackling and breaking up, but hopefully you can see what I mean. Sometimes a little bit of dramatic interventions needed. You've got a song there. It just needs a good mix. Those vocals probably need to be like 3 or 4 times louder. I don't know. Someone said the reverb kills the track. It might be a case there's too much reverb. I like a lot of reverb. Let me take another listen. But, you know, the chat likes that track. People are saying it's got melancholy vibes. Like, it's a good, you've got a song there. You've got a song. You just need to clean it up, but without killing it. So there's already lots of distortion. There's already lots of crackling. We don't want too much crackling. Keep the tone in there. Make sure that we've cleaned up those tracks so that you can get things loud. But then, you know, Yeah, I mean, like, what I'm saying is get it clean, but don't kill all that tone you've created. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Now I'm going to ask for some song submissions, but I'm also going to check my chat. Let me know as well if something, if like this is all looking and sounding good. Again, it feels like I've been streaming for about 25 minutes. Someone also said there the vocal reverb needs to be in the send effects. Definitely do that. Make sure that you're using send effects on those reverbs and delays. Okay. Juna was the song that got lost. Yes, not Juno. Okay, I'm going to add that one. Thank you for reminding me. Hopefully it's a good song, but I added that one to the queue. Going to add a few more. Lightning has been asking, so I'm going to add that one there. Sinew asking. Let's see. Okay. Thanks for those that are like letting me know whether the audio and video is good. Out of Love, I'm going to add that one. That was just uploaded today as well. I'm still accepting submissions during this stream, but don't worry, next time I will definitely do some sort of randomization because it's just not fair me picking them randomly in the comments. Okay, someone's asking, if you tag me, I will not, I will not post it, but let's see this. Dance Tonight, let's do that one. Final Master, that's always very telling when something says Final Master. Yeah, let's add a few more to the chat, to the queue here. Okay. Keep On by Go, I'll add that one. There's no name there, so I can't add that one. Don't have a clue. Diablo Young Again. That'll be a remix. I don't see it. It's not there. It's not coming up, so it doesn't have the title on it clearly. Let's add this Free by Ronnie Stone. Let's see if we can get that one. And then I'll get the next. I don't see that one either. I'm just going to get this next track playing while I'm searching. Oh, that's cool. That's it. I'll accept more submissions later. Let's listen to this one. Make sure my effects are off. This one just makes you feel good, doesn't it? Lovely. Skip ahead a bit. This one is actually the opposite of the other ones, I would say. I'm going to open tonal balance and just see. I think it sounds a bit bright, but also because I've been listening for 2 hours, I wonder if my ears are a bit fried, but I think it's a little bit bright if I go to a modern profile. Yeah. So you can see here, if I get this here, a little bit too much treble there. So if I get rid of that. So this is exactly what spectrum analyzers and tools are for. I don't mix with my eyes ever. But, well, no, I shouldn't say ever. That's so unfair. I don't mix with my eyes typically. But when you're a bit fatigued and you're going, wait a minute, am I just craving bass at the moment? You can see that there is a little bit too much treble. So what I'm going to do is just set a band here, and I'm going to set it slightly dynamic. These plugins are just running on my audio output. I think it makes the stream a lot more interesting. So I'm going to add that for above sort of like 3K. And then let's see what that sounds like. I'm going to add a bit of reviver to add some bass back. There we go. Automatic gain. So if I turn this on and off, the track gets a bit thin, and then back on. So if I take this volume down, what do we think about that processing? Can you hear the sort of difference, or do I need to make it more extreme? I never know what's going to come across on stream. Yeah. Yeah, people are saying that feels good. So if anyone's getting an upload error, it's likely because the submissions have just been shut off. We've had simply so many submissions. I can't even get around. Also, if Tremolo, if you're in the chat, people are asking for you. Let them know where they can find your music. People really liked that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more processing and see what I can do to really make this thing sound good. The volume's going to be going up again now, guys. Just too piercing. All that stuff. Specifically here. Just had a bell there. More bass with Reviver. Like, this is why I made this plugin. Just a little bit on that. That has just brought this to life. Like, I can't even believe. I hope that comes across in the stream. This filter is so cool. Okay, here we go. Then we'll get to the next one. I love that so much. I can't remember if there was any guitar earlier, but this is such a good way to play this track out. All this track needs is a fade out. I hope there's a fade out. All it needs is a fade out, trust me. Oh, even just here, just get this track fading out. Listen to this. Oh, that's all it needs. That's just... I'm so glad we found that one again. I had this feeling when I saw it in the chat, and I thought it was Juno. If anyone wasn't watching earlier, we lost this one in the queue. I broke the queue. I'm so glad we found that. Thank you for submitting that. That's genuinely such a cool track. I'm kind of... Yeah, okay. I was thinking, oh, I didn't really give feedback. Yeah, so what I would have done... what Reviver does is it sort of... This low band's quite interesting. It adds stuff that isn't there, but it also reinforces stuff that is there. And it's distinguishing between those sustained and transient elements of the bass and trying to kind of get both of them to kind of sit right. Anyway, head over to my Discord, have a chat with me. I can explain a little bit more about how it works, but this is my own plugin. And I built it exactly for situations like this, where if I just take that track and just add a low boost with the EQ, things just start going all over the place. They don't sound good. Anyway, let's listen to another track. I'm going to turn off this processing. Go back to the main queue here. It'll be a minute before I queue up any more tracks, so please don't spam the chat with any of your track artist names or track titles, because I'm not going to get around to it yet. It'll be just a minute. So Lightning. This says... Okay, let's see. Gonna turn the volume up a bit.
All I hear is an echo in my head. Through night and day, the stars align.
The vocal delays are a little bit muddy. I think you do have them sidechained to duck to the vocal, so when the vocal's singing, they're ducking down, but I think maybe just not enough. And when they do come back up, there's probably a little too much going on in the sort of 200 to 400 hertz region. I think in these, if I just listen again,
the stars align.
I think you might have a reverb running into a delay, when it might sound better if you have a delay running into a reverb. I could be completely wrong, but the reverb seems to be washing over everything and being delayed. Could be completely wrong here. It's just what I'm hearing. Let's skip ahead a bit.
Take a look into the sky. Now
The vocals are, in my opinion, too loud for the track. The production's cool. I wish I could. I have some plugins that can reduce the level of the vocal, but if I run them on the stream, I'm worried things might crash. I've already got so much stuff running. Let's skip ahead a little bit. What I'll do, the vocals are a touch loud, so I'm going to just take down this sort of 2K region just to make it easier to hear.
darkest night, what fears take hold? How could we stand in a world so cold? Inside our hearts, we can find our hope. I can lead the way, so don't let go. Inside our hope, I can lead the way, so I'd walk through the end of time.
I think everything's just mastered a little too loud. I love loud mastering. I master loud myself, very loud. I think things are just a bit squashed. The builds didn't go low enough to then build up, and then when the drop came, I felt that the high frequencies did open up and release. I could hear all that and hear that fizz and the super saws. But I feel like we just need a little bit more of a dynamic change between those sections. Maybe a few more layers on the vocals, clean up the vocals, get the timings really, really tight, a little bit more treble on the vocals, and then you can take the vocal volume down, but they'll still be intelligible. I think that would probably be the best thing for this track. What do people think? Yeah. And also, people don't argue with my mods. All of my mods, any of them here, are people I absolutely love and respect, and I completely trust their judgment just as much as my own. So if you're getting timed out, it's because you're spamming a lot, okay, guys? Yeah, it's always like 1% of the chat that just ruins it for everyone. But we're having a good time. We've just hit 2 hours. It feels like I've been streaming for half an hour. Let's get some more tracks playing. Good job, Lightning. There's good production there. I just think you need to let each element shine. Come back on the compression limiting, take some of that stuff off, and just let things breathe is the word. That track just needs a little bit more fresh air. Not the plugin. Well, the plugin might help as well. Who knows? Let's go. So this is Out of Love remix by Mr. Ruxy, Ruxy, I suppose.
I wish I was the one you crave. I wish there was another way. Shame on me, 'cause I'm
Okay, I'm gonna queue up Astromite because they are.
nothing else that I can say.
Everyone knows who they are. Let's listen to them.
I gave my all, but you're not mine. Heaven knows I tried. I should let it go. Know that I should walk away. But something pulls me back to you. And no matter what I do, sleeping with your ghost. Yeah, I'm calling out your name. Yeah, it's the only thing that I can do. 'Cause I would love to waste on you.
That's cool. Really cool. I'm reading the chat. Here's another one that was in the stream. So there was a few people in the queue earlier that got lost, so I'm just adding them back in. This track's cool. What I'm going to do is dive in there with an EQ and see what I would adjust just to make this sound a little bit cooler. Just smoothing things out a bit. It's a huge bass on this already. The vocals sound, it might be because it's sort of ripped for a remix, the vocals sound very thin. As I'm boosting 2K to try and make them sound more louder in the mix, they're just getting thinner and thinner, so my EQ is not helping at all. I'll get rid of this. What I think we need to do is get those vocals to just be thicker. What does the chat think? Because like the vocals are good, the track's good. I would literally, this is going to sound silly, I would add like 1 or 2 dB at 200 to 300 hertz on those vocals, and then I would take the vocals up by 1 or 2 dB in the mix, and I think they're just going to sound awesome. Maybe put a stereo spreader on them, keep it sounding interesting. I mean, this just sounds so cool, doesn't it? I think you've got such a transient smack in that kick drum that I think you could almost have less of it. The kick drum, I love the way the kick and the bass interact. I don't know what the chat thinks, that kick sounds almost too big. But luckily it's not a long sample. It really has like a smack, it punches in and gets out of the way again, which is excellent. You don't want a kick that just goes like over the whole track. I don't know what the chat thinks, let's see. Yeah, people have got some fantastic feedback in here. Like tone shift, 16th notes on the hat, just loads and loads of good advice there. So yeah, you can read through there. Yeah, someone else is saying the vocals were too quiet and need more body, which is sort of what I'm saying there. Look for that body in the vocals. Maybe there isn't any, so maybe try to use something to synthesize some of that to reinforce it. Cool. Right, let's go to the next one. Dance Tonight, Final Master. Final Master. Anytime something says Final Master.
Champagne city life, so young, inspired, rolling with the roof down.
Okay.
So high tonight, no end in sight, laying all our roots now. We don't care if we never make it, we'll love through all our fears. This feeling that we can't control is deep in our souls, but I know if we could just dance.
Okay. I'll go into the vocals in a minute. What I want to draw everyone's attention to that I think is done really well here, even though it's not super experimental, it sounds you might expect to hear in this sort of production. I like how, I presume Jay Andrew is the name of the artist. I like how Jay has just decided what's going to be foreground, midground, background in this track. These, if you notice this piano, it's chords or it's a note on the piano that's just constantly blinking away.
If we never make it, we'll love through all our fears.
And it's all the way in the back. And I love that. They've mixed in a way. I love when people can do this. They've mixed in a way, they're not trying to make everything sound absolutely in front of you all at the same volume. They've decided those pianos, you know, think about it. Jay probably pulled that piano plugin up, has programmed all the MIDI notes, added a reverb, and they love that sound. But they've decided the best thing for this is to put it all the way in the back of the mix to give other things space. And I love that so much. I think we're going through a moment of the internet's getting a little bit choppy at the moment, so I'm very sorry if things are laggy. Let me check. Do forgive me. The most important thing is that the audio still comes through. I said earlier, it's a miracle this stream even works. I live in the remote Scottish Highlands, so this is all on satellite internet. It's a miracle this thing works. Listen to this again. Let's listen for the foreground, midground, background.
This feeling that we can't control is deep in our souls, but I know if we could just dance tonight.
That's so cool. Listen again. Listen to how the pads and atmospheres are supported by the sub bass. They sort of sound like they're one sound. You don't have this sub bass going boo, and then these pads that are just airy on top. It's all kind of together. Take a listen.
This feeling that we can't control is deep in our souls, but I know if we could just dance tonight. Don't let me step on your toes as
I'm holding you close under the moonlight. Nothing.
I love what you did with the effects on light, moonlight, and you just let things trail off. Maybe more, not ad-libs, maybe more harmonies, maybe more doubles, keep them really low. I love when people double or triple vocals and you just have them so low in the mix. Like, compress them like crazy, turn them down like 30 dB, and they give the listener this sense of just being surrounded, but they don't really like know, you won't necessarily know there's loads of vocals. It's not going to sound super pop. I'm going to skip ahead. This is sort of, it's funny how streams always end up having a bit of a theme, and I think the theme in this one is let's be a lot more experimental with our fills and breaks and things like that. This here, I would say either simplify it a lot, almost silence, or make it a lot more interesting. Just let's listen again. I think you also hit a note on the piano that sounds a little bit suspended or dissonant. Maybe not dissonant, maybe just... Yeah, I think that could do more. Right, really good. When it says, I have to say this because you've written final master, which means I have to say there's something wrong with it, because you can't ever name something final master. That's an unspoken rule in audio engineering, right? I think the drop, as technically excellent as it is, I don't think it's as pretty as the rest. I think the vocals are maybe a touch loud. Maybe the vocals could be a little more airy. You could add some pretty effects on them or something. But you created a really nice energy, and then I think the drop, the chorus, it doesn't quite match. It's not as pretty. I don't think it's as emotional as the rest of the track. I don't know what anyone else thinks. There's no... I'm not really going to pick anything technically wrong with it. I'm just going to listen again. Maybe it's a little bit congested, but I don't think that's the issue. I just think this bit here, everything's floating, everything's flowing. I mean, the vocals sound raw. They sound vulnerable. A bit of tuning on there to keep them sounding pop. There's compression, there's EQ. I can feel they're crispy, but they still sound vulnerable. And then the drop sounds a little bit maybe predictable. It's not making me. It's not giving me that sort of like emotional release, I guess, that I might be expecting after the vocals. But like, really, really cool track. I had to say I had to criticize slightly because you cannot you cannot write Final Master and expect to get away with it. Not on a stream like this. Really good job, Jay. I really enjoyed that. Thank you for submitting that one. So we got Astrolite, who pretty much was the first person to submit a track to the stream. Anyone on the Discord knows who Astrolite is. I think, I can't remember if they've won or come second or third in like loads of our remix contests. So I have high hopes for this. And yeah, also Jay, if you're in the chat, let people know where they can listen to more of your music. That sounded really cool, man. So Astrolite, here we go. And this says demo, so I'm not allowed to criticize it. Mm-hmm. Is it loud enough, everyone?
I've never seen on the other side. You can cut my eyes and play my side. Oh, I've been locked in it.
I have to say, I like your vocal tone. It's really smooth. It's a demo. I think the vocals could probably go up, but also have more compression. I think things are sounding a little thin. The guitar, the delay on that guitar is just absolutely beautiful. The tape delay is just gorgeous. Like, it's this. If you... That's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let me skip ahead a little bit if you don't mind.
But I fight against the frost. Now the light in all the crows. 6 flags on the intersection.
One second, guys.
Your voice is red on my glass and steel. That leaves me begging for more. 6 flags on the intersection. Will revitalize my soul. Senses of creep through my walls.
Just getting some more water.
Pigs must go.
Right, I wasn't there to hear much of the chorus, so chat, let me know what you think about it. Let me see. Okay, so we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I thought we'd be finished after about 90 minutes. Does anyone mind? Oh, you know what? Actually, Astrolite, look at these feedback. Look, I said how good the comments are, and I should have just gone straight in. So they've left some feedback. Wait a minute, let me move this away. That's just a stupid graphic I've got. I'm going to turn that off. Astrolite has said, not mixed, I'm looking for feedback on songwriting structure. Cool. So maybe, depending on what you want the song to do, we could get to that chorus a little bit quicker, but I also like that you set the scene with those guitars.
Pigs must cause and I'll take it. I see it clear. But I fight against the frost. Now the light in all the crows. 6 flags on the intersection.
I don't think the arrangement or anything needs that much work on that one. That sounds good. As you say, it's a demo. The whole thing needs a good mix, and if you don't know Astrolite, you know that he can do a good mix. He just likes, they just like to get all the ideas out first, which is really important. You don't need to dive into the mixing too soon. Let me go to the next one in the stream. I'm going to get this playing, and then I'm just going to go grab some more water. So if anyone wants a snack or water, this would be a good time to do it as well. Oh, this sounds good already. Thank you. It's giving me... I already feel like camel fat. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Now I don't want to go get water. I'm going to keep this on. Get the headphones back on. Okay, really, 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 really good production, as anyone would agree. I think the vocals need to do, I think they either need to do a little bit less or a little bit more, because in this section where it's slow, I just feel like they either need to be really washed out and atmospheric, almost vocals that are just giving a feeling. You can't really make out what they're doing, or they need to be maybe cleaner with different effects on them, because right now they're kind of halfway in between. They're sort of prominent and clean, but also washed out. I don't know what people think. Let me try this. Let's this will be loud again. The production is fantastic. Really, really good production. Let's listen to this, Phil. Oh, yes. Had some good comments in the chat where people were saying either the vocals need to be more clear or a bit more grit on it, and I would agree with that. Really, really good. You know, the production and the drums are almost too clean. Like, let me try something, and I'm going to see if I can make this a little bit more, give this a little bit more tone. Let's try. Give us a second. That's insane. I can't adjust this plugin in real time, so I need to just get this sitting right. What do we think? Sorry. Oh, I accidentally muted it. This song is... I'm gonna go back to here. This is like problematically good, like really, really clean. But I think with this lift 3, a little bit more saturation, I think that sounds a lot, just more... Yeah, the track was... You know what? I struggle to talk while listening to the music. I get so focused in on music when I'm listening. I'm sure you're all the same. It feels rude to talk over people's tracks. That production is so clean that I think dirtying it up a bit, getting a bit more crunch in there might even set it apart from the competition. You don't have to use that plugin. That's just one I used during mastering. Not at all sponsored by them. Just saturation, more clipping. Don't clip the low end too much or it'll just sound really crunchy and blown out. There's a song I've been asked to add. Check this. So this person asked this. Okay, we're going to add a few more to the queue now. Let's see. But, you know, if you've got your own original music, Dizette, that was Dizette Paradise. Hopefully that's how you say it. I'm the worst at pronouncing names on earth. But, you know, if you've got a Spotify, let people know where they can find you. This is what this is all about. Like, obviously it's about me giving feedback, but we are a community here. Community. And people on the Discord know this. We're all about supporting each other's tracks. When we release tracks, we all flood to it, listen to it, try to get the streams up, try to get some energy going. That's what matters, you know. Right. Let's add some tracks. I'll get this next one playing and then I'll add a bunch of tracks to the queue. Sleep Well, Oppenheimer, Overbite. This track is absolutely crazy. Very chaotic. Let me skip ahead of it. Oh no. Ah, that was the next one I was trying to add to the stream. Let me go back. Where are we? I'll go back to that track. One moment. I'm new to this. It's very odd keeping up with this. It's also one of these things where when you watch someone stream like this, you're like, you always think, you know, why? Surely this couldn't be difficult, but it's a lot to think about, I assure you. I'm going to skip ahead. This is going to go into the realm of something that's just so experimental that there's no point in me trying to give some objective feedback to it. Subjectively, I mean, it sounds like things are sitting in the right place. It sounds like you've got tonally, there's bass, there's mids, there's trebles, things are working in rhythm, but it's a bit much for me. Let me add a few more tracks to the queue. True Friends. Now I'm gonna add this one because they gave some really good feedback earlier, even though they've not named their track properly, but they gave great feedback to another person. So I hope that people understand it is challenging to give feedback to things that are so unique and experimental, because that song just sounds like it's doing its own thing. This Oppenheimer one, or Sleep Well, it's clearly doing its own thing, and I think it should do that. I think if people are only looking for the most logical way to produce music, everything's just going to sound like everything else. So it's not really on me to judge that and say, yeah, I would change that, remove those kicks, keep it in a particular rhythm. That's not what this is about. Let's add a few more to the... Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Just totally at random here. Okay. Time capsule. Okay. I might be wrong, but I think this person, Shadow, EKX, Unbroken Sky, I think they said they started making music like 8 months ago. I might be wrong. It might have been someone else. I think it was. So, yeah. Just reading the chat. Okay, there's lots of melodies and counter melodies. What I do like is that you're doing a call and answer. So one melody does something, another melody answers it. So that's the answer. That makes sense. I just think the melodies themselves are, for me, they're not super captivating. The sound selection, sound design does sound fine to me, I think. I'm sure the chat would agree. I just think, you know, while you're new and fresh to music, you're still learning, let's just push the boat out a little bit. Let's try stuff that's a little bit crazy. Let's listen into the bass, see what we can do there. I'm getting a lot of mid bass. I'm hearing loads of bass 300-400 hertz. Let's get a sub bass happening, you know, from 80 hertz down. Let's get some energy in this region. And I don't mean EQ, I mean let's synthesize something here. It's lacking a bit there. So if we fill out the low end, just get a sub, whatever your bass is doing, just try to get a sub doing the same thing, clean sub, keep it low. That'll fill out the bottom. It's going to make things sound a little bit more sort of rounded out and professional. And then those melodies will have a good foundation to sort of work off. Right now, I think your melodies they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. The sound is nice. I just think there's not really anything kind of hooking the listener back into this. Just going to see where this evolves to. Because what it sounds like is you're new to music. You're programming things in a piano roll. You go full screen. And when you do that, everything sounds very special and interesting and unique because you program the notes. When you play, if you play sort of piano, guitar, you play I hate to say real instrument, but like a typical instrument, a violin, anything, your melodic ability will probably just skyrocket. And if you were just playing those 4 or 5 notes on a guitar over and over again, you'd probably see how boring it sounds and how repetitive it sounds. Whereas when it's on a new synthesizer in a DAW and you see the piano notes, it looks all new and fresh. So I would say just push the boat out on those melodies and try to do something really, really cool with them. Everything else is sitting in place, and I can't remember how long you said you'd produced for, but that is a fantastic place to be. Even if you've been producing only for, say, 1 year, that would still be an excellent place to be at. And, you know, that's a sign of good things to come. Let me just make sure I don't have all my plugins running. Let's get those out of the way. So the next track, let's play the next one. Let's be nice in the chat, people. Yeah, automation for movement. That's a good idea. Right. True Friends by Serena Rose. Now, they gave some really kind feedback a minute ago, so let's hope this one's good. I'm going to turn this one up a little bit. I already love that guitar. Sounds so good.
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you, 'cause I'll forget, but I'll never forgive you. Don't you know, true friends stab you in the front.
The reason, this is weird, right? But the reason I cover the headphones off is that these are open back headphones, so the sound sort of gets out, and it can sometimes make it easier or more difficult to tell what the panning is. So when I cover them, everything sounds really closed in to me. It means I've sort of got closed and open back headphones. That's a wee trick for you. I want to listen to these vocals again.
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you.
It might be that my ears are a bit fatigued, but all the vocals sound like they're coming from right in front. They sound like right in the middle. Let's take another listen.
Hold my breath if I was you.
I think all your harmonies and doubles should just be spread around. They don't need to be 100% right and left. They don't need to be, you know, 90 degrees out, but you could even spread them halfway. Make sure they're tuned really nicely and that they're all in time. These sorts of, when you stack vocals like this, you want to make sure that all the words line up really well in time and tune if you want them to really sum up to something beautiful. Otherwise, the errors in tuning and timing can sort of cancel each other out and things can sound mushy. These vocals need to be a little bit brighter, which means a little bit of EQ like this. This will be the last time we listen to this, and then we'll go to the chorus, okay?
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you.
This
I'll
area.
forget, but I'll never forgive you. Don't you know?
Cool. And true friends stab you in the front is a really... Oh no, what am I doing? I need to have this one. What I was showing you was 1,000 hertz here. I'll go back. Right, look at this.
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you.
Get about here. This is where we need
I'll
it.
never forgive you. Don't you know? True friends stab you in the front.
Right, let's go to the chorus. Here we go.
It fell apart right from the start, and I couldn't even see.
All of the cymbal, the crash is in my left ear. I would probably keep it spread out, but spread it between both. That would sound a little bit better to me. Those vocals, let's just add a bunch of crunch and distortion on them. I would say filter them up a bit. Filter them, get them almost sounding like they're on the radio. Get a lot of crunch in there. It's going to make your voice sound so much cooler.
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you.
They're a little bit too loud. So basically what's happening is, we'll go on to the next song, but what's happening is, to try and make your vocals sound strong enough, you're just boosting the volume. Whereas what I think you really need to do is add a bunch of saturation and distortion and compression. And then your vocal's going to sound really locked in the mix. And you're not going to need to put it as loud. It's going to sound full and flattering and cool. Whereas right now it sounds like you're kind of trying to shout over the mix, I think. I hope that sounds fair. You know, I could tell you that it's... yeah, a little bit of tuning as well, maybe. Right. Yeah, if I were you, I would just read some of the kind things that people are posting in the chat, because there's a lot of people... Yeah, also probably going back to the vocal recording itself. Right, so this one here, Ronnie Stone Free. Let's take a listen. This is a cool start. Nice and dreamy. Nice. Really nice transient bass sound as well. That hat's a little bit abrasive. So, you know, if I pause this, truly the only thing taking me out of that is that the hi-hat sounds... Let me just take one more listen. I've kind of tamed it a little bit now, but as I've said before, it sort of sounds like, listen to me, I am a hi-hat. It's sort of like a normal sample, whereas I think you could just do something really smooth and groovy with that, maybe a shaker loop, maybe a different type of percussion. The hi-hat sounds a little bit boring, but everything else is so good. Let me just take this hi-hat down a little. It's all. Amazing. I'm gonna hunt around a little bit, but I love that. Do you hear how your shaker loop, if I just take the volume down, the shaker loop you've got in the background is doing a lot more for the groove than the hi-hat? And a trick I like to apply, I'm going to take this EQ off. If we turn the volume all the way down like we've got now, hear how much the hi-hat sticks out. Sounds like it's louder than anything else in the mix. So if you turn the volume down, or another trick you can do is taking your headphones off, splitting them apart a little bit. This is a great trick, right? If you take your headphones off, split them apart, and then turn the volume up and listen to what is coming out most strongly. So if you did that with this track, you'd just be hearing the hi-hat cutting through, and then you'd know. And then you'd know that they were what it was. Some people are saying maybe just take the hi-hats down, not EQ it. Trust me, I wish I could. I don't have the stems. But right now all I can do is try to take them down with this EQ here. Let's see where this evolves. This is a really cool track, Ronnie. I like that wob 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 wob. So cool. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Here we go. Oh. It's got a lot more, I don't know, it's got a lot more movement than so many lo-fi tracks I've heard, and I hope you take that as a compliment. It's got movement, doesn't it, guys? Doesn't it? Okay, I'm gonna add, what else have I got in the queue here? I think that might be the last one in the queue. I'll add a few more. I'm gonna have to go into my, going to have to go full screen while I try to refresh this. I have broken my queue again. I think it's because I'm running plugins. Probably the problem. But anyway, the plugins and the EQ has made this stream a lot more fun than not having them there, so I don't mind. Let's see the chat. Yeah, people are saying the shaker really sells it. Like, the shaker was so much more groovy than that hi-hat. The hi-hat was just sort of like, listen to me, I'm keeping time, here I am, I'm a, 909 hi-hat or whatever. No, I don't think it was. Whereas the shaker was just so grooved and so like, yeah. I'm going to have to... I am going to do one more round of asking for tracks. There's nothing more in the queue that I had queued up. This is not good. 1 second, folks. This might be this telling me that it's time to draw it to a close. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to pull up this remix that someone has done. Okay, Command F for search, yeah. Let's listen to this Kennedy Wild remix while we...
Ceiling from your couch and wondering what it all means.
I'm gonna get a few more tracks queued up.
For the morning when you stare through the windshield, missing me, just know
all I'm going to say about this one is the vocals feel too slow for the track. I know it's a remix. I think the vocals are slow because you've sort of double timed everything. I don't know what we could do with that. Speeding them up a little bit, maybe messing with the formant. I'm not sure, but like really, really cool production. I think this was one that was submitted for our remix contest. I think I remember listening to this one. Pretty sure I do. There were like 2,000 entries for that, but I remember them. Let me listen to a few more tracks here. I've queued up one more, and then there's one called... Okay, cool. This person was very polite. So I'll add their one in there. It's a demo. Right, so this one is called What to Do Official Music by Tanish.
Never forget your name. Maybe we're both insane. Never forget your name.
Very strong start.
Maybe we're both insane. Never forget your name. Maybe we're both insane. What to do? Over you. What to do?
I love that sort of formant vocal. But I think there could just be more movement in it overall. We take another listen, but I'm going to add a few more to the queue. This will probably be the last queue we do. Actually, no. I should remove that one because I'm spamming. I'll get a few more loaded up. Okay.
You know we get fucked up. I'm lighting up the blunt. If you wanna stay, I'm all up in the guts. I don't give a fuck. Grew up in the mud. Don't know what to say. Turn that 40 to a dub. Talking about
That's, yeah, good production. It sounds maybe a little bit blown out in the low end, but that's kind of the style of it. So maybe the vocals could be like a touch brighter, a little bit more intelligible. Let's cut through a few of them here. So let's go for, here we go, first techno. I'm going to look for this one. I thought I might have done this one already. Maybe not. Let's look for a few more. Can I just say thank you everyone for bearing with me. You know, I mean, I streamed on Twitch a bit on Discord, but it's been a couple of years since I really did this. So thank you for making this easy for me. You know, let me see. Let's find a few more. Tolerate, that's what I'm going to look for. Words I can spell. There we go. We got a few queued up here. Thank you for making this easy for me. You can see why I'm using Boombox for this. It makes queuing up and doing all this stuff much more easy. Okay, first techno. So this might be their first techno track. It's 8 minutes long. We're not going to listen to all of it, but we'll get through some of it for sure. So they've already added like 8 or 9 comments telling us to like ignore this bit. I was experimenting here. Very long build up. So there's all these sort of oh listen but sort of things. You don't need to put yourself down. Just let the song do the talking. I remember too. I'll pause this. One time I had a friend in the studio. In fact, yeah, it was music by Lucas and Lauren were in the studio, and I was showing them some of my music, and I was like, I was gonna play it, and I was like, oh, but this is a demo. It's too much at 2K. Like there's too much reverb on the vocals. I'm gonna change this. And then I just heard myself talk, and I was like, what am I doing? I just need to shut up and let the song do the talking. But if you want to add all these notes, you can easily select areas and go, yeah, very long build up, indeed, and then they'll get that message. You're collaborating. They can get that to the mix engineer, the producer, whoever needs to see it. Let's listen to a little bit more of this. The low end sounds totally crushed and sort of blown out. Those pads are cool, the ones that are sort of floating, just bouncing up and down like this. But I think they need to go a bit further back in the mix. Everything sounds like it's trying to be really close. I can't remember whose track it was. Was it Jay? Where I was saying I loved that they had you know, stuff that was going to be right front and center, maybe the kick, the bass, stuff in the mids, and then stuff all the way back. That piano, I remember it was the piano we were listening to. And that lets the listener know what to focus on. Let's skip ahead to another track. Right. I love long intros and long build-ups, but I would say this bit here, this start, isn't adding enough. I would probably literally start the track here. There we go. Because I think all of us during this section were thinking, okay, I guess there's guitar in this song, what's going to happen? But it doesn't have quite enough rhythm to really get things going. And then I want to, I don't mind if tracks have a minute long build up, so I don't want to say like take that out, but I just think it's got so much attitude. If it starts like this, we all know what's happening. I think we all love it. So good. I love it.
¿Cuántos likes tendrá esa foto? ¿Cuántos faltan para su bienestar? Ajustando su cuerpo a la moda. Sugar Daddy parece no importarle que hay un vacío enorme y nunca se llena. Es tan predecible, igual es tan superficial. Cuando miras al espejo y te encuentras. She's a fake plastic girl. She want a fake metal boy. Because she has.
That sounds cool. What I want you to do is listen to this with and without the plugins, and we'll just see whether this adds a lot more attitude to it or whether I'm completely overcooking stuff.
She's a fake plastic girl. She want a fake metal boy. Because she has to be pure, beyond, he has to be hard. A fake love relation. En las redes antisociales y al fundir su tarjeta.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm overcooking that. Let's see. No, people seem to be liking it. People saying sort of like Green Day vibes. Yeah, yeah. The vocals here do sound a little bit quiet. Let's see.
Y al fundir sus tarjetas.
I get that you're filtering the vocals. That's very, very cool. I think maybe there isn't anything to EQ in the top. I think maybe it's the way they're recorded, but I would say maybe add a dB or two at, say, 800 hertz to maybe 2000 hertz. See if that gives you some intelligibility there. Compress those vocals, but have a medium attack time so that the start of each word can cut through, and then have a fast release so that you're not just squashing the ends of the words. Vocal intelligibility can be all about hearing the ends of words. Don't know why I put it back to that screen. So you don't want the compressor to cut them down. You want to make sure that you hear the end of the words as well. Let's take a listen. Yeah, you definitely just need to get a little bit more vocal volume there as well. As I've sort of said before, you could add some doubles, some harmonies so that adds some volume. But I just think a little bit more vocal volume. What do people think? Yeah, so people are saying more saturation on the vocals. That's what I was really trying to do. I was trying to use Reviver to add a bunch of like mid harmonics, and it definitely helped. I add this here. They fall away. And obviously that's just Reviver added to the master bus. If you just added Reviver only on the vocal channel, engage the mid harmonics and maybe push them a touch, that's kind of going to act, it's not compression, but it's going to help the start and ends of those words cut through a little bit. I don't know what people thought about that. But yeah, that's That's a really cool track. So let people know where they can find you. That was Francisco Lopardo with Fake Plastic Girl. That was a really cool track. Really, really enjoyed that. Let me go here. My mods are saying anything. Perfect. Next track on the queue is Santura Tolerate. Jump out here.
Promises you make are cracking thing. This record's playing for the 100th time.
Right, there's a track I want you to listen to as a reference. Go Think by Collider. That's Think by Collider. It'll give you, it's got a similar bass to this, but it's just so, it's almost like it's a similar sort of vibe, but just mixed so well. This track's got the elements it needs. It just needs a really good mix. Let me take a listen. But I'm going to put that in there. This called Think by Collider. No, I can't even spell it. Anyway, Think by Collider. You'll find it. It's in John Wick. It's a good song. It's a good reference because it's a bit alternative like this. Right. Let's make this. Let's do what we can. We're gonna try and work miracles here, right? Okay.
You say you want to find a better way. Which thing can you tolerate to be free? Which pain can you tolerate to be with me?
So let's turn all this on and off.
Which pain can you tolerate? Which pain can you
And then with it.
tolerate? Which pain can you tolerate? Which pain?
You know, I think that sounds a bit better with that on. And I think you've got good emotion in the vocals there. You know, I think you're saying which pain will you tolerate, which is like quite powerful. Like what will you tolerate in your life and what won't you? But I'm not connecting with the sound of it. It just sounds a little bit too muddy. You've got all the elements there that you need. There's a song there for sure. It just needs a little bit of polish. Everyone here is saying loads of potential, great width. Yeah, people are saying great things. Thank you, moderators. What did we think? What did we think of the processing there? I think that really helped it.
Can you tolerate to be free?
I've already got rid of it. Great track though, really cool. Let me turn off all of this processing. It's a miracle that we live, honestly, that we live in a day and an age where I can stream this from the middle of nowhere, run plugins on all these tracks. Like this is, I'm astonished that this is even working at all. Really, really good track. I do want to say again, I know we've been streaming for ages. I really have nothing but appreciation and love for people that can do anything creative like this, and also that want to submit it and be incredibly vulnerable and share it with us on stream. But in the interest of trying to be helpful, I do of course want to focus on what I can do to help improve things. Otherwise, I would just be saying only positive things forever about all of these tracks. That's the last one I've queued up. Right, we're almost at 3 hours, so we're going to do 1 or 2 more songs, and then that's going to be it, right? For anyone saying, how do you use those VSTs on your output of the sound? I think I'm just going to make a video about this. It's a shame. It's not going to be, it's going to look like a sponsored video, but it's not. I bought the thing myself. There's this plugin you can use to run plugins on the output of your computer, and it's amazing. So that's what I'm using here. I use it every day. Right, so let's do this. One more. El Zurich's. Oh, yeah, of course I'll play your one. Of course I will. He is, or they are, absolutely an original on our Discord server as well. They've been with us forever. Of course I'll play one from you. And then let's find another one or two. Who have we got? I'm going to find a way to make this more democratic next time. I'm going to see if this Elzurix one will play us out well. Hopefully it'll be good, and this might be the last one we do. Setting the scene. Yeah, I like this. Oh, wow. What are you going to do? Let's turn this up a bit, okay? Do you mind if I skip ahead a little bit? Oh yes, please skip to 222. Where's 222? Okay, so they've asked us to skip ahead, okay, just so you know. I'm gonna take this down here. Just the touch piercing on those bells. No feedback to give. That's where I'm going to wrap it up here. That's such a good track. I'm going to take that down in volume a bit. This has been absolutely immense. I'm just going to turn that off. Really fun track, Elzurix. Okay, I thought I was going to do 1 hour. We've done 3 hours. I have to wrap this up somewhere. Okay, so to finish this up, thank you so much to everybody that submitted stuff through Boombox. Now that we've sort of done this, I'm sure it makes a lot of sense why I've used this file sharing service to host this stream. I'm going to be doing another one of these streams in just 1 week. I might put a poll out to see which day to do it on, because I know Saturday doesn't work for everybody, but it works for all of you. So, and I'll try to find a more democratic way to pick songs. Maybe I'll put a load of names into a hat and pull them out, or randomize it, and that way it's just totally random. I don't, the chat eventually calmed down, but I understand it's challenging. Right, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that submitted. Please just, if I didn't get around to you this time, you can see I've tried to do as many as I could. If I didn't get around to you this time, just please submit again. This has been a huge amount of fun, and I've sort of found a way to settle into this. So thank you very much for being here. I will, I'll sort of wrap this up now.